Today on the deep dive, we're looking into really a remarkable 60-year-old cold case.
Yeah.
It's a story that kicks off with just a hidden photograph, a family secret.
Mm-hmm.
And it just unravels into this much bigger mystery involving multiple missing girls. It really shows how these buried truths can impact generations.
Absolutely. And our mission for this depth dive is really to piece together what is a very complex puzzle. We've got a stack of sources. There's a personal diary, old yearbooks, police reports that are pretty cryptic,
Right.
and some really startling family revelations.
So we're trying to figure out what happened to Carol and these other missing girls in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Exactly. Not just what happened, but also, why? Why were their stories kept quiet for so long? And what did that silence, what did it mean for the people left behind?
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Our listener, Sydney, she makes this discovery after her grandmother passes away.
That's right. She's cleaning out an old dresser, just going through things, and finds this photo. A young woman her family never talked about.
Her Aunt Carol.
Her Aunt Carol. And her Grammy had apparently said something really cryptic before.
Yeah.
Something like, "Baby, we don't talk about Carol." And that just sparks this intense curiosity in Sydney. Understandably.
And this discovery, it really underscores the power of family secrets, doesn't it? Especially ones kept for so long.
It really does. And what's fascinating, what makes this even more compelling, is Sydney's background. She used to be a crime reporter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she actually stepped away from it. There was this traumatic case, the McEwen family case, that had some disturbing parallels.
Okay.
And it forced her out. But now she's pulled back in.
Because this time it's personal.
Exactly. It's her own family history. That connection fuels her. And you also have this really interesting contrast, her life now in LA versus this very atmospheric, historically Black neighborhood in Raleigh.
Right, where the Grammy's house is.
Yeah, built back in the 1940s, a time when Black property ownership was pretty rare there. That house just holds so much history, so many secrets.
Such a strong personal reason to dig deeper. And then as she starts asking questions, it gets bigger, right? It's not just Carol.
No, not at all. An old friend of her Grammys, a woman named Eloise, she mentioned something else.
What's that?
That other Black girls went missing from Raleigh around the same time as Carol.
Wow. So it shifts from just one family's hidden story to maybe a pattern in the community.
Precisely. It's a chilling expansion. It makes you wonder, were these isolated incidents, or was something more sinister connecting them all along, hidden in plain sight?
So how does Sydney, with her reporter instincts kicking back in, how does she start connecting these dots?
Well, she starts with the basics. Researching Raleigh itself, finds out it's called the City of Creeks, and that leads her to a specific area, Walnut Creek, where some of the missing girls actually live.
So the landscape itself might hold clues.
That's the question it raises, isn't it? How can a place, its geography, be tied to hidden tragedies? And then Eloise comes through with something huge.
The yearbook.
Yes, exactly. An old 1965 yearbook. It's a really pivotal moment.
What's that?
Photos, names, the aspirations of these missing girls. Marion, Betty, Geraldine, Loretta, Sally, and Carol herself. Seeing their faces, reading what they hoped for, it makes it so real.
God, that must have been heavy.
Incredibly. And there's also this cryptic reference in the yearbook to a boy nicknamed Scarecrow.
Scarecrow. Okay, file that away.
Yeah.
But then Sydney finds something even more personal.
Yes. Carol's diary. Hidden. Tucked away behind a panel in the guest room.
Unbelievable. What does it say?
It's quite revealing. It mentions a boyfriend, Michael, explicitly. And their plans, their dream to run away together to Detroit.
Okay, so maybe she did just run away.
Well, the diary certainly paints a picture of her feelings for Michael. She writes, I don't think anyone has ever truly cherished me before. I didn't realize how much I needed to feel that way until I experienced it. Really intense emotion there.
Yeah, sounds like it. But that conflicts with what her family, or at least her brother Larry, believed, right?
Completely. Sydney's father, Larry, he carried this belief his whole life that Carol just abandoned him. A deep, bitter grudge.
And there's more to Laurie's story, too, isn't there? Something about his past.
Yeah, the sources mention his own, let's say, complicated past, anger issues. Someone named Barbara recounts how possessive he was as a teenager.
Which gives context to Sydney's own experiences.
It does. It provides this chilling backdrop for Sydney's own childhood trauma, or her father's mercurial moods, as she describes them. It suggests layers of family dynamics long before Carol vanished.
Okay, so Sydney has the diary, the yearbook.
Right.
She decides to track down Michael's family.
Right. She finds his sister, Yvonne Hall, And this interview takes a weird turn.
How so?
Yvonne is a corporate litigator, very sharp, and she's just incredibly evasive about Michael's connection to Carol, almost dismissive.
Despite the diary.
Despite everything, she says something like, I mean, it's just such a common name when Sydney brings up Carol. Just brushes it off.
The litigator being dismissive like that, that definitely raises a flag.
A huge red flag, someone trained to control information to stonewall. Her evasiveness feels calculated. Sydney knows something's off. What is she trying to protect?
Meanwhile, this name Scarecrow keeps popping up.
Yeah.
Raymond Green. What more does Sydney find out about him?
She talks to Stanley, who is Sally Dunn's brother, Sally, being one of the missing girls.
Okay.
Stanley reveals Raymond was a kind of a socially awkward kid, an orphan. His house apparently became this notorious party spot later on.
Just a troubled kid or something more?
Well, this is where the anecdotal stuff starts to pile up and it gets creepy.
Like what?
Witnesses Barbara, Stanley, another woman named Joyce, they all describe him similarly. Creepy, a darkness about him, an emptiness to his stare.
Specific things.
Oh yeah, disturbing details. Like Raymond smelling girls' hair,
Ugh.
following them too closely, cornering one girl, Kathy, in a bathroom. He even gave these bizarre anatomical heart drawings to a girl he had a crush on. It paints this really unsettling picture, you know. Lots of small, weird incidents adding up.
Yeah, those little details individually might seem dismissible, but together it's different. Is there anything more concrete linking him, though?
There is. A big one. Raymond drove a specific car, a black Chevy 210.
Yeah.
Witnesses reported seeing some of the missing girls getting into that exact type of car.
Okay, that's tangible. A direct link.
A very direct link.
Now back to Michael Hall, Carol's boyfriend. Sydney makes another discovery about him, right? Something contradicting the family story.
Yes. She finds out Michael did actually file a missing person report for Carol.
So Larry was wrong. The family was wrong. Michael was concerned.
It seems that way initially. But then digging into Sally Dunn's police records, another missing girl, Sydney, finds something truly shocking.
What is it?
A cryptic note in the file. It says, Y. Hall cancels report on CS, citing conversation on 52565.
Y. Hall. Yvonne Hall. Michael's sister.
Looks like it. Canceling the report on CS Carol.
So Yvonne canceled the missing person report Michael filed, without him knowing.
That's what it points to, which forces the question, why? What on earth was she trying to cover up? Or who was she protecting?
And the connections keep deepening. There's something found in Carol's trunk.
Yes. A charm bracelet. Initials SD,
Sally Dunn.
Sally Dunn, linking Carol directly to another victim. And then there's Raymond's neighbor, Alvin. He remembers something specific.
About Raymond.
About Raymond on July 4th, 1964. The very night Geraldine Williams disappeared.
What did he see?
He saw Raymond acting strangely near a hydrangea bush in his yard, and Raymond had, well, dark splotches on his shirt.
Splotches.
Alvin said he was fairly certain it was blood, and he added this chilling detail. Hydrangeas don't bleed.
Wow. Okay, so the suspicion around Raymond and maybe Michael is mounting, but the case is still stuck, right? Until
Technology intervenes decades later. Sydney's sister, Sasha, gets this idea.
what does she do?
She orders a DNA kit, just on a hunch, maybe. And it leads to the most astonishing breakthrough imaginable.
Don't tell me.
Carol is alive.
Alive after all this time.
Alive. And she has a son named Wesley. They track her down. She's living in Harlem under a new name, Mary Jones.
Unbelievable. They must have rushed to see her.
They did, but the reunion, it wasn't what they expected. At all.
What happened?
Carol just closed the door in our faces, refused to see them.
Oh, man. After everything, why would she do that?
It's a huge question, isn't it? It really speaks to the depth of the trauma, the need to completely sever ties with that past. Imagine choosing that isolation over a reunion.
So what did Sydney do? Give up?
No, Sydney uses her PR skills, actually. She crafts this really powerful email to Carol.
What did it say?
The core message was, we're here to offer you the family you've had to sacrifice all these years and appeal to that loss, that connection.
And did it work?
It did. It finally broke through. Carol agreed to meet them.
Yeah, and the truth, when it finally came out.
It was shattering, absolutely shattering. Carol confessed she hadn't just run away. She'd witnessed Loretta Morgan's murder.
Witnessed it.
Michael and Raymond. She described this horrifying scene. The car was rocking all over the place, this thudding sound. Awful.
Oh, my God.
And then Michael coerced her, forced her to help bury Loretta's body, put a shovel in her hand and said, be a good girl and cover up this mess, would you?
He made her an accomplice.
Yes. And then he blackmailed her. That's why she disappeared. That's why she stayed silent.
He blackmailed her with what?
With her brother, Larry, Sydney's father. Larry was only 14 at the time, looked up to Michael. Michael threatened to frame Larry for the murders if Carol ever talked.
No.
Yeah, he told her it would ruin my family, they'd be run out of Raleigh. She was terrified for Larry, for her whole family.
That explains so much. The silence, the disappearance. Did she admit to anything else?
She did. She admitted under duress. She also helped with Sally Dunn's murder, but she did one small act of defiance.
What was that?
She buried Michael's class ring inscribed MEH for Michael Eugene Hall with Sally's body. A desperate attempt to leave some kind of clue, maybe, without directly implicating her family at the time.
That ring. MEH. That must have been critical later.
Absolutely critical evidence. But the most shocking part of her story, it's about her own survival.
What happened to her?
Raymond. He later took her to that same clearing where Loretta was buried. He tried to kill her too, forced her to dig her own grave.
Jesus.
But somehow, she fought back. She managed to push Raymond into the grave she'd just dug.
She pushed him in?
And she buried him, alive.
Wow.
After that, she just fled Raleigh, ran for her life, haunted by it all, and by this lingering thought that maybe her mother saw her leave that night, but didn't try to stop her.
What an absolutely horrifying story. Survival at an unbelievable cost. So with this confession, what happens next? Justice.
Things move quickly after that. Carol's testimony leads directly to Michael Hall's arrest.
And he's convicted.
He is. Kidnapping, false imprisonment, first-degree murder for Marion, Geraldine, and Sally. The evidence was overwhelming, including a damning latent fingerprint pulled from the lens of Geraldine's horn-rimmed glasses.
Wow, that fingerprint. And they investigate him for other crimes, too.
Yes. Authorities started looking into his potential connection to other disappearances in Oakland and Detroit, places he'd lived previously.
So finally, some measure of justice. What about the victims?
They recovered the remains, Raymond's, but also Marion's, Geraldine's, and Sally's from Raymond's old backyard.
And they created a memorial.
They did. A place called Angel's Clearing, established right there in the wetlands. They planted 5 young oak trees, one for each victim, each with a plaque bearing their name.
Transforming a place of horror into peace. That's powerful.
It really is, an act of reclamation. And you know, this case brought attention to a larger issue, too.
Which is?
The disproportionate number of Black people, especially women and girls, who are reported missing nationally every year and whose cases often don't get the attention they deserve. This story put a face, several faces, to that statistic.
And for Sydney, personally, this must have been transformative.
Immensely so. Resolving the case, understanding her aunt's story, it allowed her to finally process her own childhood trauma related to her father's behavior. That near-drowning incident. It all started to make sense in a new way.
So she found healing through this.
Yes. The source suggests she worked through it in therapy. It even helped her move past her fears about becoming a mother herself. She eventually has a daughter, Nia.
That's wonderful. And her relationships with her family.
Strengthened. With her partner, Malik, and her sister, Sasha. Built on this new foundation of honesty, she says something like, "We have to do a better job of talking, even the hard stuff. Especially the hard stuff."
Learning from the past.
Exactly. Applying that knowledge to heal and grow. The community celebration at Angel's Clearing wasn't just about mourning. It became a space to celebrate the girls' memories. We even see older characters like Barbara and Stanley finding connection, with Stanley saying, "Life is entirely too short. We can't wait until someone's gone to tell them how much we love them."
And Sydney and Sasha started their own podcast.
They did, called The Unforgotten. A total full circle moment, right? Using their own family's trauma and this investigation to raise awareness and help others.
And Carol. How did she find peace after revealing everything?
It sounds like, although she still carries the guilt, reconnecting with her family was key. Her son, Wesley, her nieces, Sydney and Sasha, and meeting her granddaughter, Nia. Holding Nia, she reflects on this newfound peace, how the park, that clearing, no longer felt dark. Because, as she put it, there were no more skeletons here, not buried beneath the mud and not buried within my own family.
What an incredible journey we've just followed. From literally a whisper, a family secret, all the way to solving decades-old murders and sparking a national conversation.
Yeah.
This deep dive just powerfully shows how hidden stories resonate, the sheer courage it takes to bring them out, and the ripple effect truth has on people, families, whole communities.
It really does. And as you reflect on the story, Maybe consider the unspoken narratives potentially in your own life or your own community. What unforgotten truths might be out there? What kind of liberation or understanding could uncovering them bring?
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah, the deep dive today is really a reminder that even the most painful histories, these incredibly difficult stories, once they're brought into the light, they can actually pave the way for real healing and connection.